Looks was not all I had a good shot. I took it right in my eye. Look ahead, look behind. Take another, I don't mind. Follow the signs, right back to you, back to you, back to you. Right back to you, back to you. So, put a posy in your hair.
Do we have to have...
Hey,
Oh, hi.
singing along with the music. The culture show. 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 Hi, everybody.
You beatbox?
Can I beatbox?
Yeah. Okay.
Bam!
You sounded like a gorilla.
That's why. Don't be racist. How dare you?
Oh, jeez.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Culture Show. Christina and Michael here. Wednesday, April 30th.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joosh.
Wow.
The last day of April. And it feels like the first day of February out there. Nasty in Utica.
It is pretty terrible.
So
but on a brighter note, actually, I got nothing.
Yeah. What are you even talking about?
The Destination Create is this Saturday.
Oh, you're already starting this? Let's warm up to this stuff. Come on,
sorry.
man.
Sorry.
What are you, a machine?
I'm doing my lat stretches right now, actually.
Your lat stretches?
My lateral stretches.
My
what's gluteus maximus stretches.
What's going on?
What?
With your life? What's new?
Oh, you want to talk about my life?
Yeah.
Well,
we gotta
I went to the Alvin
and the Chipmunks
Ailey dance at the Stanley last night.
Wait, you didn't say that was Alvin Ailey.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. You said it's somebody else.
No,
you screwed the name up.
There's the.
I would have recognized that.
Oh. Well, you missed it.
Yeah, he's a choreographer from Harlem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was it?
I actually, what's me and Luke were late, so we were banned to the very, very top balcony for the first part.
How dare you? With the commoners you go.
It was what I thought when I was watching the first part and the second part. It was broken up into 3 sections, more or less, with 2 small intermissions. And what I liked about it was, for the most part, I thought that they almost treated the dancers as if they were androgynous, like their gender didn't matter.
You're talking
men danced with men, women danced with women, men danced with women. It didn't it was just
within the performance.
Yes, there was no. I don't think there was a profound statement about that, but I was noticing that it was almost interchangeable. It was
Interesting.
It just worked and it flowed, and I thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really appreciative of it. And aside from just the types of kind of, I don't want to use the word interpretive, but it's it's not really ballet. It's not really.
It's modern. It's modern. Yeah. Modern. Yeah.
But what got me, they had some kind of influential hymns in there, slave hymns and stuff.
Like that.
Yes. But what irked me was the last part, the last section, and it was all the females.
Do you hear that sound? That's Christina getting up on her high horse right now.
And and I think if and most people don't know me that well, because obviously I'm through what you see here on the radio. But Michael would know me that I'm not one to be overly feminist. I'm not one to be to be very irked by things. But what
I concur.
Frustrated me was the last scene. Was all of the women with these dresses on, and they had these hats on, and then they were fluttering around with a fan. And I guess I think they were trying to make it a period thing, not a period, a period piece thing, time.
Yeah.
Not a men's train.
I wasn't gonna go there.
I did.
I wasn't gonna go there. Come on. My word.
But they had it where, like, they were dancing, it was just them, and it was nice, but then all of a sudden it got, like, the women would get together in clusters and look like they're gossiping, and it just got, like, very, and then the men came out, and it got very men versus women stereotypes in a lot of ways, and I was like, the men were strong, and the women were gossiping, and and I was like, God, like, you're doing so good.
No, well, maybe that was specific to counter the equality that showed.
It could
previously.
be, but it was just...
Was that that was the final piece?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I mean, it could have been very well, obviously it was intentioned to be like that, but... Intended.
Sorry, I don't mean to correct you like that. I apologize.
What did I say? It was
intentioned.
Intentioned. No, you should correct me. That's terrible. That is terrible.
You said you were talking fast. Go ahead. Yeah, I know sometimes the mouth is faster than the head. I have that problem too. Go ahead. So it could have been intended, and but it's just, again, like, I thought it was just so beautiful when they were just interacting like human bodies moving. Yeah. And I liked that. And then when it turned very, very culturally, race and gender specific, I kind of was like, God, like, you kind of just fell into every other thing that's going on. Like you were talking about with remember, like, the whole Munson Williams school of dance? Oh, I don't want to revisit that. Debacle. But that was just embarrassing. That was not thought of. That was not predetermined. Where this probably was predetermined and specifically done that way, right? For the bigger picture, it sounds like you're having more problem with a narrative versus non-narrative. It sounds like the first performances were more non-narrative. They didn't have a story behind it in a weird way. Maybe. Yeah. Where some now narrative came onto them and they had to turn into their roles in society. You didn't really gel with them. Whatever. You ain't got like everything they do. See. But that was nice. That was good. It was a great. I wish more. So it's a traveling. Is this a traveling group? Troupe? I don't know. I know the only thing I know of it was that he has kind of been like on the DL for like 15 years. Like he hasn't been. They haven't been dancing and performing for a very long time. So we were really. Was Alvin Ailey there? I don't know. Oh, okay. I didn't. Is he still alive? I don't know. Google. Anyways, for people who don't know who Alvin Ailey is, he's an African-American choreographer who founded a school of dance down in New York, which typically was predominantly for African-American dancers. He died in December 1st, 1989. Oh, okay. So he hasn't been around for a while. He hasn't been around for a while. But when I was looking him up, it was, really talked about, being rooted in African-American dancers and whatever. Mm-hmm. But there was actually now in this dance troupe there was several different colors of the rainbow. Well, I'm reading right here on Wikipedia. His company gained the nickname Cultural Ambassadors to the World because of its extensive international touring. Isn't it? Well, that's why. There you go. And they even came to Utica. Yeah. That's like way international coming up here. Well, that's great. Yeah. How many performances were there at the Stanley? Do you even know? How many performances? How many nights were they there? I think just the one. Really? Yeah. That's lame. It wasn't as well it wasn't as well attended as it should have been. I haven't heard anything about it. So my mom said she saw an advertisement for it in the newspaper, and she said it was like an inch by an inch. She goes, I would never have paid mine to if I didn't know. I don't read a physical newspaper, and I don't watch commercial television, so that's probably two ways that they were not going to get me as a target audience. Right. Well, glad you were there. You could have went though for free. I should have went for free. I didn't know. Maybe if you read your work email a little bit better. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get an email. You didn't? Everyone did. Nah, I'm not everyone. I'm me. Oh, all right. Well, that's cool. Yep. What else did you do? I did nothing. I have nothing to add to this part of this conversation because I was home. I did nothing. I got rejected for one of the grants that I applied for. Congratulations. Yee-hoo. So general grant specific. What was it or? It was whatever? A grant from Syracuse. It was a photography grant. And I think my biggest problem is I'm not as well written as I should be, and I think that's a big
a big hurdle of mine, and I don't know how to make that better. You know, because when I say things like intentioned,
spell check is good for that though. Spell check would have caught you, no problem.
You know what's crazy is that there was a history professor that me and Michael had when we were at Pratt MWP, and he's probably one of the most boring human beings I've ever met. And
wait, who are we talking about? No, no names, but
yeah.
Who? Oh, yeah. All right. Okay.
It just dull, dull and hard to want to learn about art history with him. But out of all my years, there was a very small pool of influential teachers, and the one thing he taught me was short declarative sentences.
Well,
and that actually has helped me a lot.
Well, no,
to think in short declarative sentences, because I always felt like I had to be very long-winded to explain things, or that if it wasn't 65,000 words in a sentence, that
short and to the point.
So that kudos to that man, whoever you are out there.
He's still there, by the way.
I see him. I just shake my head. But in the local art arena.
Yes, local it up. And now Christina with the local news.
Michael and I both missed the closing reception for the Drill Crack Patty Whack.
Oh, well, why mention it then? I feel bad.
Well, anyways, I hope that you went, and if you did, please post on our Facebook, www.facebook.com/thecultureshow, to let us know your thoughts on fracking and...
Oh, no. I don't want to know your thoughts on fracking.
Your thoughts on the art show and fracking.
I don't care what you think about fracking, to be honest with you. I don't want to hear that.
This weekend is the Destination Create Festival. It is at the MLK Farms in Deansboro.
In the what farm?
MLK.
And that's Martin Luther King? The Martin Luther King Farms?
Oh, MJK?
I don't think it's MLK. You want to check an electronic device?
I thought it was
if
MLK.
You want to give up that. Did you post it to?
Oh, jeez.
To our site?
I did last week. It's there.
Boop, boop.
Anyways, I will get to the location in momento, but it's this weekend. It's in Deansboro. I would check it out. It has a lot of different artist vendors.
Find out where it is, because that's important.
All right.
I'm not sure if it's MLK Farms. I think he's still thinking about Alvin Ailey a little too much.
How do you...
Why is it so difficult to find it?
Well, it only shows, like, the first couple.
Isn't it in your events?
Oh, yeah.
Way to be prepared, Christina. You're always on the ball. You're never one to fall. Christina.
There's a lot of pressure right now to get the location of this place. It's freaking me out. You know what's crazy is I get 3 bajillion notifications about it.
And you still have no idea where you're going. It's this Sunday.
I know where it is.
My goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. What will I ever do? The day you come prepared will be the apocalypse.
Well, anyways, Michael is going to look for it.
I'll look for it. You keep talking.
And so that's this weekend. I will be there Sunday if you want to match a face with this beautiful voice.
What are you going to be doing there?
I'm going to be representing Project U, which is the artist group that is in Utica. And, it's right there. Wait, hold on. I see it. It's so close. MKJ.
MKJ Farm.
Is not that far off from
Not that far, but definitely not MLK. MKJ Farms.
MKJ
in Deansboro?
It's Route 12B in Deansboro.
Route 12B in Deansboro.
It's from Friday to Sunday, May.
Where on Route 12B? Is it right on? That's the only... Does it have directions?
No, that's it.
That's how people get them there.
Signs?
Oh, I hate... Oh... My biggest pet peeve with these things, where Route 12B is kind of long, maybe. Ay.
I don't know, babe. Anyways, it's from... There's signs. Apparently there's going to be signs everywhere. Look for a sign for it. And it's from 10 to 6. It says, by Artisanware, see artist demonstrations, kids and adult workshops, activities, and food. And I think they have a hot air balloon on Saturday for all those who like hot air balloons.
But you're going to be there on Sunday.
Yes.
And you're manning the Project U table?
Yes.
Okay, and what information are you going to have to give out? Do you know?
Actually, if you have like any artist cards, like it's going to be just more a representation of the artist within Project U, and I think there's going to be a kids table where they're going to be allowed to make individual pieces of artwork that will then be later installed in a downtown Utica window display.
Oh, by the kids?
Yeah.
That's cute. That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, and what times?
10 to 6.
10 to 6 on Sunday. Okay.
That's all I got in the local
That's
arena.
What about the show opening this Friday at the museum, at the School of Art Gallery?
Well, you know about it.
Munson William Pratt, artist in residence.
Munson Williams Pratt? What is that?
Munson-
All right.
Munson- Pratt MWP at Munson.
I'm just going to punch you in your
at
stomach.
Munson William Proctor Arts Institute.
Biggest pet peeve I have about my job is no one knows the name of my school.
Well, no one knows where the gallery is connected to anyway. So, whatever. The School of Art Gallery at Pratt MWP.
There is an opening on Friday for our artists in residence. It's the last year we will have artists in residence, and the first year we've had artists in residence.
Well, it may come up again. It may be biannually.
There you go. But there are 4 artists: painter / drawer. What is Daria?
She's a
painter.
Yeah.
A sculptor, Jacob. Veronica's a ceramicist, and Clarissa's a printmaker. So come by at 4 from 4 to 6.
No, we're not having an opening for this show. There's going to be a closing reception on the 9th. On May 9th, that's a Friday, from 4 to 6 at the gallery. You can meet and greet and talk and nosh and hear what the artists have to say about their work.
You can ganache.
But it's going to be open for the next week. So you can
It's only open for a week?
It's a quick show. It's quick up and down. Boom,
Why?
done. Scheduling, that's how.
Oh, that stinks. Sorry, guys.
And so yeah.
So that's about it. There is a New Orleans jazz trumpet player coming to the museum on Saturday. His last name is Davenport. First name, do not know.
Do not know Davenport.
Do not know Davenport. So if you guys want to go see a jazz trumpet player, go get some tickets.
Sounds like a plan.
Transitioning to...
I'm waiting for you to pick it up. So, yeah.
Transitioning. Something we have to work on.
Well, let's talk about it.
Transitioning.
Let's talk about our articles
to
this
articles.
week. What we found interesting.
Articles we found.
This week.
This week we found them.
Study
Michael.
Study finds. Study finds U.S. cultural consumers are social and promiscuous. That means they sleep around? I don't think so. So this is an article about culture, and we're the Culture Show.
Whoa!
Hello. Talk about
waka.
Talk about made to be destiny. It's kind of a crappy article, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was whatever. I liked how the last paragraph.
Let me build up to that.
Okay.
That puts us.
I was like, what is that? Where did that even come from?
Well, no, it means a lot. So it was a panel discussion held at Times Center, which is run by the New York Times in Manhattan.
Get out of here.
Get out of town. The Culture Track is an ongoing study that follows Americans' participation in cultural events. And so they're gauging what we deem culturally
So
important.
the NRA is giving us, are they just feeding all the information? Hashtag culture, hashtag.
NRA, National Rifle Association.
Oh, no. I'm like a mess today.
Today.
The NSA.
What is NSA?
NSA?
Are you talking about the privacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Shusha.
NRA.
NRA. All right, we're going to get through this. Everybody just hold hands and follow me.
I'm just not going to talk. It's only 7:20 and Christina has made many.
No. You're doing good. You're doing fine.
Many goofs.
You can do this.
Thanks, Michael.
It's developed by a marketing firm, which it's not slanted in any way, shape, or form. It's totally objective marketing firm. Garbage. Which specializes in museum and other creative institution branding. Oh, that sounds hard. It's dirty. It's gross. It sounds horrible.
Institution branding.
Institution branding. Culture Track is billed as... I'm reading from the article that was in the hyperallergenic.com by... Does it say? I want to give credit to who wrote the article. Well, maybe. You read the article online. www.facebook.com/The Culture Show. Developed by a marketing firm LaPlace & Cohen. Culture Track is billed as the largest national tracking study focused exclusively on the ever-changing attitudes and behaviors of U.S. cultural consumers. Cultural consumers.
Are you a cultural consumer?
This year's survey.
Tell me your thoughts. Call me, baby.
This year's what? This year's...
I want to have a call-in.
If you want to have a 900 number. This year's survey, the sixth since 2001, polled a sample of 4,026 Americans that reflects the country's demographics.
Do you think that's enough?
But right now, we're going to cap it at the end of the article. How it reflects the country's demographics is a poo-poo statement. But go ahead.
It's kind of talking about what you're going to talk about. Do you think that out of the whole United States, that 4,000 people is enough to gauge appropriate information?
Probably not. No.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
What did it find?
Did it find, Michael?
Well, let's get the numbers.
Do tell.
But to the end, Cultural Track also contends that people are thinking more broadly about what constitutes. This is what I found kind of interesting. People are thinking more broadly of what constitutes a cultural experience than they have before. To back this up, one of the presenters offered these numbers. 79% of those surveys considered going to the park a cultural activity. Going outside is now a cultural activity. 66% say the same of seeing a broadcast of a live performance in a movie theater.
What does that mean, a performance of a live broadcast?
Absolutely no idea.
I've never, the Emmys at the movies? What's a live broadcast considered?
I don't know.
Not 1942.
Actually, there's some more numbers, but I guess after it gets into now you may. It sounds a little dated. Yeah. Surprising that people count film going at an independent theater as a cultural activity. The presenter distinction gave the presentation an antiquated air. Yeah, it sounds old-fashioned. This doesn't sound like it applies to
now
our internet, more internet-friendly society. 69% each with respect to street art and food and drink experiences. So 64%,
like a beer fest,
like
just
a
cultural.
Well, that kind of is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the other stuff maybe isn't, but that has a longer history.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest. What the hell do you think that is?
Oktoberfest. Yeah.
56% with respect to seeing a film at an independent theater. So going to see a film at an independent theater is a cultural event. Why not? I don't know why that more than just a regular film. I guess that's what makes it sound old.
Because it's segregated?
No, it's elitist. That's what it is. It's elitist and it's sounding to be pompous.
Yeah.
That at an independent theater is more blah, whatever. 51% regarded watching non-commercial television as a cultural activity.
What is non-commercial television?
Well, non-commercial television is PBS, basically. PBS. But why don't they just say public television? Is cable non-commercial? You have to buy it. There are no commercials, but you have to buy it.
I don't know. I don't have a TV, so I don't...
No. I'm just saying... I'm saying philosophically, is cable... Is HBO, I'm saying, is HBO non-commercial television?
Well, I mean, I learned everything about me in culture from Sex and the City, so, you know.
Please. 41% regarded watching a live or recorded lecture online as a cultural.
TED Talks.
So that makes more sense as far as it being about what we're doing now.
What do you deem as a cultural experience?
Well, see, I don't like the language in a lot of this article. I think it's everything is slanted by it being they're referring to cultural consumers. It's the consumer part,
right?
And it's made by a law firm, so a marketing firm. So it's already it's
already convoluted.
Yeah, it's kind of convoluted and away from a more generalized idea of what culture is, which is everything that we do, that we're allowed to do.
Like the NRA.
Like the NRA. And it kind of went into some things having to do with age and how younger generation, 43% of millennials that are those who were what's a millennial? Millennial, they were born.
Somebody past 2000?
Yeah.
God, if you're...
Said they won't go to an event if they have to do it alone.
Well, they're 12.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either.
I hope they're not going to events. So. Sure, you 6-year-old. But that's a big thing, though. People would not typically go to events alone if they wanted to go to something.
Exactly. Well,
people become very self-aware when you're alone, and I don't think people necessarily want that. You know, if you go to a concert or to a gallery or to dinner alone, you have to be very like.
A lot of people do it, but it's. I hear what you're saying. You're seeing it more as when you go to these things. They're like cultural events, and going alone is kind of daunting.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm glad that I went to the park a bunch of times because I feel way more culturally sound because of my park going.
Well, you see, I don't think, and again, it's not really using culture as above.
Yeah.
Right? Is there when we say culture, do you think a lot of people are thinking refined culture as something that you have to attain? Or just the base definition of culture, which is
I think
the
if you ask
an
average Joe on the street, when you ask about culture and cultural experiences, they're going to assume that it requires the next level.
The next level.
It's not like you just happening to be on like a path in the woods. You know what I mean? Or you taking your dog out for a walk. You know.
Well, I mean, maybe more relevant would be going to Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cultural. Specific to us that other cultures don't have.
Right.
The Walmart.
I don't think the average person would
appreciate that.
No, because that didn't come into my head, honestly. I get that. I get your point, but that's not like one of the first things that would have popped into my head.
It's more of a anthropological idea of culture as opposed to a more academic
edited version of culture.
Yeah. And it started to talk about it. Another panel member also started talking about mobile device ownership and how that has increased since 2011.
But it decreased. There's no real change in using it for a cultural activity or finding anything culturally sound.
Yeah.
So.
at the end of the article, by the end, this is the last paragraph. I'll read the last paragraph. By the end, the panel devolved into an all too common discussion about the meaning and future of technology as it relates to the arts. And no one was saying anything particularly interesting. One audience member raised her hand to point out that everyone on stage at the Times Center was white and asked how race factored into Culture Track's findings and breakdowns. The short answer? It didn't. A missed opportunity to examine an issue we don't discuss enough rather than speculate on something already approaching death by over-speculation. So I found that extremely interesting, that this demographic, again, that was specifically mentioned to be, well, this is, again, the writer of the article probably did it on purpose, that reflects the country's demographics when they're all upper middle class affluent white people up on stage talking about it, right. And how race was not put into the equation at all.
Do you think that they talked to the person who made Noah and wanted it to just be like the universal man?
The screenwriter of Noah. Absolutely. Great callback, by the way. Yeah, exactly. White person stands in for all races because white is right. My goodness. So that puts us, I mean, that really kind of shows a lack of kind of insensitivity if you're just talking about the consumer part of culture in relation to white people. It's not a full demographic of what's going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, again, if you're going to screen 4,000 people out of how many millions and millions or billions of people that, you know what I mean?
But at the same time,
the numbers are just.
At the same time, regardless of those numbers, I think it was slanted in the first place. I think they're dealing with. I think and I think it's less of a racist, although race has come in. And I don't mean racist in a negative, but it's less of a race discussion and more of probably a class discussion because they're dealing with people with people who would. Maybe this article is talking about culture as a distinction, as opposed to an actuality.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a little bit too late to be talking in those terms now. Maybe. Let me get down from my high horse.
Ooh.
So, well, there you go. A cultural article about culture on the Culture Show.
Woohoo!
Kind of Inception-like.
Culture to the third.
But it was flat. I give it a C.
Michael's ratings?
Yeah, Michael rating. I give it a C. You want to talk about the book, Manning?
Who?
The book.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The book.
So we also posted an article on our Facebook page, and you can read it at www.facebook.com/thecultureshow.
Why are you whispering? Be proud.
Anyways.
Wow.
At www.facebook.com/thecultureshow.
No backslash, regular slash.
The Culture Show.
So you started talking to me about this article. You started talking to me about this article day before yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was Tuesday because we had lunch together yesterday. See, me and Michael spent a lot of time together. And we have lunch on Mondays and Tuesdays together where we eat cake.
Why?
And eat ice cream Sammys. Anyways, so we posted an article about an Idaho school who was reading a book about a Native American who wanted to leave the reservation and go into a public school.
The name of the book is The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian.
It was a required reading.
I haven't read it.
I have not read it either, but it upset many Lord-fearing people. And they said it was anti-Christian and not suitable for...
It had some anti-Christian themes and possible mention of of masturbation or some other stuff like that.
And naughty words.
And naughty words.
So it was banned from the school. The parents put up a big enough stink to get rid of it from the reading list. And a student who was very appalled at this went out and sought out to the publishing company or something,
First she did a Kickstarter campaign and raised $3,400, and bought $3,400. Crowdfunded $3,400 to buy a copy of the book for the 350 students who signed the petition.
Which,
to give away the book.
I didn't think that this was what made this article so interesting is that, again, people always say for this time, we shouldn't be thinking about this. It should have been, I don't know what am I saying? I'm losing my mind today. Everyone says, oh, it's the new millennium. Why are we acting like this? And it baffles me that people still act like this, but it also in the same regard doesn't baffle me.
You're talking specifically about banning books.
The idea
1950s garbage.
I think it's really interesting that this is still an issue, but what I think is really awesome about the time is that there's the ability to have a Kickstarter and say, kind of you know what?
Exactly.
You can't tell me how I should think about anything, and I'm going to empower myself. I think that's really for...
Exactly, and if that's an indicator of how anything has changed, the power dynamic is definitely stilted.
Yeah.
There is there isn't as much, I should say, I'm not going to say no, there isn't as much of the traditional power structure of supervising and telling you what to do, and there's a lot more room. I'm sorry, I felt like I got a frog in my throat. There's a lot more room for people who want something
to obtain it. Yeah.
And how you can't stop it and you can't police the way you used to police.
Right.
And so the title of the article is Parents Call Cops on Teen for Giving Books Away at a Book Giveaway. So go ahead.
Okay. So the student raised the funds, had signed petitions. Obviously, there was a huge interest in reading the book, rejecting this kind of oppression.
Well, again, the ignorance of the people in the parents or the power structure in Idaho, especially now that everything could be so easily attained. The minute you say you can't read that, that's the first thing they're going to read.
Right.
What kind of psychology are they using in Idaho?
Don't you read the Bible? Oh man, I got to read that. Tell me about Moses and John.
But
3:15.
I mean, just basic,
right?
Just basic psychology. So
at school, the student was passing out the books, and the parents decided to intervene by calling the cops. What did the cops do? I would have been like, I'm not responding to that.
No, the cops did nothing. The cops showed up. It was they organized. She and a couple of others organized it through a local bookstore during and I forgot the name of what it is. It's a national World Book Night. As part of a national book giveaway event called World Book Night.
I never heard of that.
I never heard of it either. I want a free book.
I do too.
So
can we do a World Book Night next year?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll remember it, and I'm sure you will too. So they organized.
Hey, we have this on record, Michael.
Oh, that's right. Damn it.
Dump the thing. Hit dump.
Hit the dump button. They organized it and started giving away the book in conjunction with this World Book Night, and everybody who showed up got a book. Well, a parent caught wind of this, got their skivvies in an uproar, and called the cops. Now the cop shows up and says, what? Let me look at the situation. It's World Book Night, you're giving away books, and she is giving away books on the day when you're supposed to give away books. Okay. Can you
do that in an Idaho accent, please?
I don't know Idaho accent.
I have no idea what an Idaho accent is either. I just thought maybe you could try.
No, I'm not good with my Midwest.
Do they have like a Minnesota accent, you think?
You do that better than me because when I moved up here from Long Island, I thought everyone up here had a Minnesota accent. So
Don't you know?
it's close enough.
Jeez.
So yeah, the cop did nothing because she did nothing.
Right.
But it shows how deeply people could be out of their mind.
Yeah.
No, just yeah.
You know what it is?
What was that?
It was me and Jess. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that was an awesome little squeal.
It kind of goes to that, like, manifest destiny, like, I know what's right for this religion, like, my religion's right, and you need to know what my religion is, and
they didn't, to be fair, they didn't mention anything about religion.
Well, it had anti-Christian beliefs. Well,
okay,
if you...
Possibly, yeah.
If that's an issue for you...
A point that you made yesterday, which was interesting. Wait a minute, let me just find it.
I made a point yesterday.
You made a point. Yeah.
Over
No,
our Boston cream pie?
No, the one on your head. Where is it? Hold on a minute. It's wait. Apparently the adults who objected. Okay, I'm now reading from the article. Apparently the adults who objected to the. I should do it in my reading voice. Apparently the adults who objected to the book weren't thinking about the teens living on Idaho's 5 Native American reservations. But the district's local team. So I mean,
they're amongst
like,
Native American people. And they are appalled.
Can't they catch a break? For Pete's sake, we done took everything.
Just give them a bottle of Jack Daniels and say, I'm sorry, but this is not your year.
Man, can we catch not even a book? I
almost feel like we should read it and do a little book review.
Oh, but don't put more stuff on my plate. I can't even take care of this stupid show.
It's not stupid, it's special.
Oh. Sorry. This special show. So that good for her. What's her name? Shout out to
that one. That girl.
Shout out to
I don't think it mentioned her name.
Okay, there's no name here. But shout out to her. And shout out. I don't know if the book could be garbage. I don't know anything about the book, but it's not about the book.
Right.
It's about the mess. It's about. What's it about again?
You just got really intense, guys.
I'm getting worked up.
What do you want to know about the reaction?
The bigger picture is about
parents are idiots.
You can't shelter these kids.
No, we're both shaking our fists.
Jeez Louise.
Let people have a mind of their own.
Exactly.
If you raised them right, they were going to grow up right, regardless.
Exactly. If your point of view was so flippin' special, they would do it anyway.
Yeah.
If you weren't afraid of them looking the other way.
Righteous, brother.
Hallelujah.
So, can we talk about Black Dynamite?
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I just thought of...
Why did you think of Black Dynamite?
When you said hallelujah, I just thought about...
You just thought about Black Dynamite?
Well, you didn't let
Where is your cultural frame? Where's your cultural reference?
When Anaconda Malt Liquor gives you... Woo!
Anaconda Malt Liquor gives you... Woo!
I don't know. Somehow I thought about that.
Man.
Anaconda Malt Liquor.
That's great. Every person out there who doesn't know Black Dynamite is not going to understand a thing that we're talking about.
Well, maybe...
Good job.
Maybe they should.
Now, on to art terms that don't mean... Wait a minute. It's loading. Ba-ba-bum. Art terms that don't mean what you think they mean. Dun, dun, dun. You like that intro?
That was pretty nice.
Man, I'm telling you.
You have way more presence than I.
10 art terms that don't mean what you think they mean.
Get out of here. Tell me more.
Now, to be honest with you, I didn't read them.
You didn't?
No. I want you to test me.
Okay, give me the pad.
Okay.
Let me put my eye specs on.
iPad. Say iPad.
What did I say?
Just the pad.
Well, you've got your period and your pad.
Stop it.
Okay. So there are... All right, hold on. Before we get into this, I just want to preface with a few
I just
things.
want to preface by I'm going to get all of them wrong just because I don't want to think that I know what I'm talking... I don't want to test myself because I think I know what I'm talking about.
So typically with an artist or an art type, there's a kind of jargon that we all use that describes things.
Art speak.
Art speak. Now, most people probably wouldn't know what this is, but I just want to let you know that there is, different terms to describe things, different movements, whatever.
Most of the terms are kind of terms that.
You saw them.
No, I looked at what the terms were, but
you just didn't read that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I didn't read them.
Right.
Excuse me. Most of the terms are kind of things that get thrown around in a looser environment. Right. I think that's why they're singled out.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Michael, can you please tell me what postmodernism is?
Postmodernism. Now, modernism. I'm gonna explain this like my friend Alex would explain it. Like modernism, because that was modern, right? No, postmodernism is art that is self-referential. It references itself and its practice as part of its practice, I think.
The movement is characterized by the, quote, self-conscious use of earlier styles and conventions, unquote, and the purposeful mixing of media and genre in ways that subvert any preconceived notion of art in general.
All right, I got half of it.
I was actually pretty impressed. I would have just said postmodern art.
The art that's kind of like with postmodern.
I don't know how I got a minor in art history. I was talking to one of the registrars at the museum. I'm like, I got a minor in art history.
Yeah, of course.
I specialize in African art. Oh, yeah. Well,
all right, no, I got to do better at this. Because I'm kind of when I say self-referential.
Examples of postmodern artists are Soloist.
Sol.
Sol?
Sol.
Soul?
It's not soul. Sol.
It's S-O-L.
Yeah, Sol. He's a Jew. Sol.
S-A-L is Sol.
No, that's Sal.
Oh, well, we're going to let tomato, because I think...
Yeah, tomato. Get out of my... Sol-Luit.
Well, in Spanish, S-O-L is soul. And that's the sun.
And he's not Spanish.
He is too. Spanish, Sol, Luito.
Sol. Solomon. Sol.
Oh, is that his given name? Is Solomon?
No, but that's a derivative of Sol.
Whatever.
Don't whatever Sol LeWitt. He's a major player in postmodernism.
There is a piece,
apparently,
I think, at the Munson Williams Proctor that you can see.
Is there?
I think so.
Not now.
They have one, I think, in the permanent collection. It's like white. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Anyone who works at the museum, please clarify that on our Facebook page. Art Deco.
Art Deco.
Art Deco.
Art Deco. You know, that's an interesting one because you can recognize it in an instant. The Chrysler Building, a lot of the architecture in Miami specifically, the 20s, the 30s. But how do you define it? It's more...
I think Michael read these, by the way.
Why did I read? No!
Michael doesn't know all this stuff.
What are you talking about? No, I know.
According
but it's hard. Is that it? Are you going to take that as an answer?
What was your...
You're wrong, sir.
What's your answer?
My answer is a decorative style from the 20s that dealt with graphic shapes and smooth lines,
legs,
and ample. No, it's hard
overplucked eyebrows.
It's hard, like I'm saying, you could see it immediately, but it's hard for. I don't know.
The Webster Dictionary describes Art Deco as, quote, a popular design style from the 1920s and 30s, characterized especially by bold outlines, geometric and zigzag forms,
zigzag,
and the use of new materials, unquote.
I guess steel and aluminum, maybe.
Yeah, that was a really big.
Okay.
We actually have a really pretty Art Deco building in Armory Square in Syracuse. It's really beautiful.
Oh, I did not know.
It's really nice.
You like Art Deco, right?
Yeah.
A lot.
I like Art Nouveau and Art Deco.
Okay, very good.
Monochromatic.
Monochromatic is there's a misnomer to monochromatic.
I knew this one.
It doesn't mean black and white. It means one color and its black and white shade or value of that color. Mm-hmm. So a sepia print is browns and whites. No other color, and that's a monochromatic print.
See,
you
are correct, and I knew that too.
Well, don't pee on me just because you know it. I know it too.
All right, good for you, babe. Expressionism
is Expressionism. Wow, that's
Can't-
goofy.
You can't
Isn't it
define
goofy?
it with this word, huh?
I know. Expressionism is dealing with emotional states, psychological states, and using very bold colors and hard gestures to.
What kind of hard gestures? Can you elaborate more on hard?
What do you mean hard?
Gestures.
Bold, very bold graphic lines and bright colors to produce to suggest a certain psychological state.
You're doing good, sir.
Man,
What this article says, it says expressionist artists aim to capture not objective reality but subjective emotions and feelings a person might encounter as a response to certain objects and events. For sculptors and painters, this often means distorting figures and landscapes to evoke a certain mood. Take, for example, Kandinsky or Clay.
Clay.
That's what I thought.
Paul Clay.
For dancers, this meant attempting to translate a person's inner movement to outer movements.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's about what you pretty much said, sir. I'm very,
Feelings.
pretty impressed with your art knowledge. You know what? Actually, it would have been far more entertaining for you to ask me.
The feelings of love. Feelings.
I don't have any words. I don't even want to entertain.
Whoa.
Ready-made.
Ready-made was invented by Marcel Duchamp in the Dada movement. Dada, which took an object out of its original
Context.
Thank you. I'm supposed to be working here.
I'm just helping you out,
Thank
bro.
you. Out of its original context and put into, say, a gallery and presented as art, and the sheer presentation of the object being art allowed it to be art. The most famous one was, I already saw the picture, was there.
The fountain.
The fountain, which was urinal, which is the British pronunciation of urinal. Which
Is
I
it
love.
really?
Yeah.
Urinal?
Urinal.
Louise.
Which was a urinal put upside down in a gallery. See.
Good. That is actually correct, but I'm going to read what they wrote. A ready-made is a commonplace, prefabricated object isolated from its functional context and elevated to a status of art by the mere act of the artist's selection.
Okay.
Duchamp's infamous quote-unquote fountain, shown above, which is the urinal, is the perfect example. Or Damien Hirst's virtue objects to art. So Damien Hirst does a lot of stuff.
Well, he puts animal carcasses in formaldehyde and presents them as.
All right, we got to move fast. We're on 6, and it's got 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I want to hear
Do
about
this.
Futurism.
Futurism, movement.
Let's skip this one.
Brancusi. Why? I'm
we
doing
got
it.
better ones. All right.
Okay. It's about movement and speed. And Brancusi.
He read these.
No, I didn't read this. I know stuff. Why can't I just know stuff? What does it say?
It says the beauty of speed.
Wow, that's what I mean. That's fast. Futurism. The Italianos, they like to go really fast.
They do their speedy ones.
Give me an Alfa Romeo, and I gotta go. Come on.
Contemporary.
That's the stuff going on right now. That's by people that are alive, living artists.
See.
That's it?
Yes.
Man, come on.
Hold on. To be contemporary is to be savvy, reactive, dynamic, aware, timely, in constant motion, aware of fashion. The term has clearly replaced the use of modern to describe the art of the day.
Oh, interesting.
Shade. Not throwing shade.
Oh,
hey.
Shade is when you add black to it. Shade, there's shade, and there's what is it? Tint. Shade is when you add black, tint is when you add white. That's with physical colors. Oh, when you shade something, you're showing the darker side of it. Which one are they wanting?
What?
What is a shade? Which one do they want? I think they want the.
Yeah, they're saying that.
Okay, what does it say?
So it says you've probably been using the word hue, tint, shade, and tone incorrectly.
That's what I thought. Okay, so I thought it was that.
Reading it.
No, I wasn't reading it.
First, hue is a word used to denote the 12 purest and brightest colors of the color wheel, the 3 primary, the 3 secondary, and the 6 tertiary colors. As for the rest, the tint is any of those 12 colors with white added. A shade is any of those colors with black added.
Ah, okay.
A tone
is
any color with black and gray added. Easy! Exclamation mark.
Wow, that's very specific. I never even had. I never knew that laid out like that.
I didn't know hue.
I just knew it was
I didn't
color.
know hue was the purest forms on the color wheel. I didn't know that. I mean, I might have, but
it's used to talk about where a color is lying within those pure tones. If something, it's like when you adjust hue on Photoshop, you're adjusting it towards either green or red.
right.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
You don't know. Come on.
Avant-garde.
I'm doing this.
Avant-grade.
Avant-grade. Avant-grade, that's some crazy stuff that crazy people do. Am I right? What are we hitting? What are we looking at? Christina has a text. Avant-garde is cutting edge by cutting. What does that even mean? It's
cutting the cheese.
Avant-garde is usually not appreciated as art because it's so outlandish and so new that people haven't. So it's really new stuff that's out of control stuff. Off the hook.
Okay.
That's the lamest.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Webster's defines avant-garde rather broadly as intelligentsia that develops new or experimental concepts, especially in the arts.
Yeah, new
and
stuff.
Oxford seems to be on the same page, describing it as new and experimental ideas and methods in art, music, or literature.
Experimental is a good
so
stuff.
in this case, you may have thought incorrect to call any novel and radical art project that challenges mainstream ideas as avant-garde, but it's actually accurate.
Yeah. Why would you not think? Experimental is the key, I think. Experimental, because it's something that hasn't been done before, basically. So
Mid-century modern.
Huh?
Mid-century modern.
Mid-century modern. That's not a painting or sculpture term, I don't think. I think that's more of a design term.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. Anyways, the easy way to define mid-century modern, which I've never ever used ever when I talked, but mid-20th century developments in modern design. Again, sometimes it's easier than you think, but for more...
Was that it?
Nuanced explanation, whatever. Okay, so she wrote a book on it. Read a book about it.
Okay.
Mid-century, because it was just, they just needed number 10. They just couldn't come up with...
Yeah, I was going to say, is that it? Wait, could you read that again? It was art, it's a mid-century modern, the art that was in the mid-century. What kind of garbage was that, really? Yeah. That's fluff.
They needed a number 10 when they couldn't come up with it.
Mid-century developments in modern design. Oh, well, I technically got that because I said design, and that's all that really gave.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Ding, 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 ding. Whoop, 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 whoop. What do I win?
I don't think you got 10. I think you got 9 out of 10.
What did I not get?
I don't remember.
I even got avant-garde.
Well, you
I stumbled around it, but I got it.
No, I think you got avant. You get lunch with Christina on Mondays and Tuesdays.
I get that anyway. Yeah. Yay. Well, that was a great game.
Name that phrase.
Because I was on the other side of it. So, all right, folks. Hey, thanks for hanging out.
Keep it real.
I'm Michael.
I'm Christina.
I'm not Christina.
I'm not Michael. I just burped up my pizza grilled cheese.
You're going to leave on that note.
I made a pizza grilled cheese. It was awesome.
What is a pizza grilled cheese?
Well, I made sloppy joes, and I had leftover...
It's vegan sloppy joes, by the way. Vegetarian.
Let's calm ourselves down.
Blah.
It was really good, and Luke even liked it. So. Anyways, so I had leftover tomato paste. I didn't know what to do with it, and I had mozzarella. So I was like, what am I going to do with all this? And I have bread. I don't know. So I put some tomato paste with some oreganos and some basils, and then I made a sandwich and I grilled it, and I made a pizza grilled cheese. It was amazing.
Cooking with Christina. Next week, how to cook like a 12-year-old. Well, great. As Christina burps up her pizza grilled cheese, I want to say see you next week. Check us out online, www.facebook.com/The Culture Show.
Can I interject?
Interject, baby.
We also you can go on our YouTube page and listen to all our radio shows.
I gotta upload. I'm gonna upload.
It's hard to find us, so the more you watch us, the more we'll come up easier.
Yeah, in the find.
So go on YouTube on The Culture Show and look for that snazzy photo of Michael and I.
Yeah.
And be impressed with how skillful we are at the microphones.
Yeah, and you could hear our past shows.
And Michael's going to put them on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
So you can listen to them on the Facebook page.
And you can specifically hear, because we have actually, believe it or not, improved. I know it's hard to believe you can get any better than this, but we have improved since our first show, so you can listen to us.
Woof. It was like okay, then it got kind of bad, and then it got awesome.
Yes.
And when I mean awesome, I mean mediocre at best. So have a good night, guys.
We promise an upward trajectory from here on in. Till next week, guys. Ciao.